that.
Yeah. And so on that mindset, the positivity of the mindset, things like that, real estate wise, let's say, it happens to all of us, you lose a transaction, someone cusses you out, whatever it is, like, and you are down and you're feeling like that way, how are you switching it? How do you, because I'm sure it's not an overnight thing. I'm sure we discussed some of that last week. How do you switch it around quickly, or what do you do? Do you have any triggers that turn it so your mood changes and you stay positive?
Yeah, so here's the thing. I know now this is after I get through my whining and my crying and my moaning, and my wife has to hear all that and blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, I don't even know. And I go back to the same old term, this too shall pass. And that is life. And I always try to put things back into perspective. The real estate business has been very good to me and been very good to my family since I got into the business. So I remember catching myself a few times where I'm like, oh, I've got 5 deals ready to close. I've got 7 deals, and I've got this energy and this excitement. And then I've got no deals or 1 deal. And I remember holding myself accountable and saying, what gives you the right to be a good person and be kind and be great and be happy when you got all these great transactions going, and then not be a good person when you don't? And I realized at that point that everything is a law of averages. And if, obviously you could always work harder. Obviously you could always be lazier. But ultimately, if you have perspective and you're living the life that you want to live, that's important to you as an individual and your family, then be kind to yourself and be patient and just do the task. And eventually you'll get out of that funk. The mood will change, the energy will change, and the winter season will go away. And then it's a roller coaster. You go through it again. But that's
why you're doing this. For you, if you don't mind sharing, what is your one thing, or what is your ultimate goal then?
Oh, that's a great question. So early on for me, and I don't mind sharing, vulnerability, by the way, is an amazing thing. It helps you get to the point a lot quicker. So I've learned to be a little bit more vulnerable in my older years. But, when I was like really young, there wasn't a whole lot of hope. There wasn't a whole lot of I didn't know anyone who owned a house. I didn't know anybody who went to college. I grew up in the projects. Things were rough. It wasn't easy. And so the mindset stays there with everyone involved. And that's, hey, this is life. And so do what you got to do to survive, hustle, do. And I never really, it didn't bode well with me. I didn't accept that. I always wanted to leave a legacy. I always wanted to be a person that people can admire and respect. And I always wanted to make sure that I left the room better than I found it. And so my fire within me is to be a person that my wife and my kids can be proud of, and that I could, right now at this age, I'm getting a chance to talk to my nieces and nephews and guide them. And I've got a bunch of people that reach out to me, and I'm like, I am living my dream. So now I don't want to lose that. And I want to continue to, if I'm telling someone never stop growing, never stop pushing, never stop being a good person, well, I have to do the same myself. So I think that would be my why. Of course, family is number one, but that is truly my why, is to inspire and to show people that you could be a good person and be successful and do some badass shit in this life.
Love it. Earn it? Was it just inside you? How did you figure out turning something so negative, no matter what it is, into a positive every single time?
Yeah, no, I mean, I don't know if I always do that, but I think it's perspective. It's perspective, and I don't. Only those who kind of grew up around me understand how difficult it was for me. I was a very emotional child. I had a lot of things going on in my world, and I just remember being young and saying, I have to take control of my own peace. I have to take control of my own joy. I have to take control of all of those things, because the world will screw you up. The world gives 2 shits about what's going on with you. And I don't mean that in a harsh way, but the truth is if you don't take charge of your own joy and your own happiness and your own productivity, no one else is going to. So I find that I know what it takes for me to be at peace. And one thing that I just can't do is I can't do negativity, because I know what it is I know when people are going through things, they're just trying to figure it out. And why would I be somebody that would ever be a part of trying to slow someone else down or bring them down? And so I just think positivity has the ultimate result. Negativity is a waste of energy, in my opinion. Positivity helps you kind of get to that next place. And, I know that no matter what I have today, I could lose it all tomorrow. But at the same time, I always say to myself, if this is as far as I ever make it, I've lived a good life and it's been a great legacy. And so I think when you live life like that, it really, you'll attract that good stuff around you. People will feel that, they'll see that, they'll want that for you. And then in turn, they'll want it for themselves.
Are you, well, Charlie, you said listening to your motivational stuff. What is it that kind of gets you going in the morning? What are you listening to, reading? What are you doing?
Yeah, so like when it came to fitness early on, I'm a lot of people, think my mindset's very much along the lines of like David Goggins and people like that, where it's like I actually pursue the pain and the suffering. A lot of that is deep. It's I don't know if we have enough time. It's deep from my youth. It's like, hey, I made a decision a long time ago that either life was going to cause me to suffer or I was going to cause myself to suffer to progress. And so I chose the latter part, and I would cause myself to suffer because I would see the results from that, whether it be fitness, whether it be mental strength, whether it be courage. And so with that, I just kind of David Goggins is someone I really like a lot. Jim Rohn is someone I listen to a lot. Believe it or not, I got a lot of stuff that goes on in this brain. So I'm pretty good about self-motivating myself and encouraging myself. And so, that